This is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with a short stream tonight. Not going to be doing the whole league, but are going to get started on a league with Temur Uro. Let me make sure I have my, whatchamacallit, points to play the league. Yes, I do. Alright, so on the channel we've played some Color Uro Omnath. We've also played some Sultai Control in the past. This is a deck that is harkening back to a bunch of banned cards in Pioneer as well as Standard and such with the Wilderness Reclamation, Nexus of Fate combo. But basically the deck tries to set up a quick Wilderness Reclamation and then leveraging the extra mana, be it for Fact of Fictions, Cryptic Commands, looping those while, accruing some type of advantage. Almost every card in the deck is a cantrip, remands, run in 6, growth spirals, Uros, Fact or Fiction, Cryptic Command. You've got basically infinite ways to recoup cards. Beyond that, your win cons are basically Uros, bolts, and run in 6, and then you're just trying to win the game arbitrarily with either Field of the Dead or some combination of those effects. The deck is a little bit weak to greater than X3 creatures if they resolve. To try to get around that, you're playing quick counter spells, things like Remand, Archmage's Charm, to kind of hold you over while you get your Wilderness Reclamation set up. And the deck is generally favored in going long games, but is a little bit vulnerable to decks going under it a little bit, as you are doing a little bit of fiddling with the mid game here with trying to set up your Wilderness Rec. And then sometimes you don't find Wilderness Rec and you're just basically a Temur control deck without the extra instant speed mana. Beyond that, you're playing a various selection of lands because you're playing we're running 6. You have a couple of cycling lands and the Triumph and the Sandbar. You have Field of Ruin, Field of the Dead, 1 Blast Zone. So lots of colorless sources in the deck. Sometimes that might come back to bite you a little bit. I know it certainly can be complicated in the Color Uro Omnath deck, and then that's what the deck's trying to accomplish in the main deck. Sideboard, the list I found was basically a bunch of 1-ofs and some Aether Gusts. Apologize for the coughing. Another Field of Ruin for Tron or Field of the Dead mirror matches. 1 copy of Ceremonious Rejection, pretty good against Tron and E-Tron mainly. Okay against something like Belcher. Veil of Summer when you're in Counterspell mirrors. Soul Guide Lantern for any type of graveyard value mirrors. 3 copies of Aether Gust because, once again, red decks prowess. Those decks are a thing. Also comes in against like random decks like the Mirror Match could come in, stop Uro and such. 1 copy of Cleansing Wildfire, kind of a hedge against Tron. 1 copy of Abrade, decent catch-all against artifacts as well as being another removal spell. 1 copy of Mystical Dispute because why not? Blue decks are a thing. Back to basics, good old Modern Magic. Hey, I've been doing some Modern Magic lately. We did Esper Vengeance the other day. 1 Ashiok, Dream Render, because it's good in some random spots, including against mirror matches and Titan decks. 2 copies of Fire Spout for any type of deck trying to go underneath you, whether it be Merfolk, humans, etc. 1 copy of Shark Typhoon, because why not? I think there's one. No, there's actually none in the main deck. I'm kind of surprised at that. And finally, 1 copy of Engineered Explosives, because it's a pretty good card to have outs too. And another reason for Aether Gust is Blood Moon is definitely a thing in the matchup. In the matchups that give you problems. How you doing tonight, War Dog? So many big matches, or so many big events that I can't play in because I have that job thing. It's kind of annoying. All kidding aside, I'm trying to do a little bit more content than I was, but still not back to the old level, if that makes sense. I'm mainly streaming on my nights off. That way I'm not trying to overtax my body, especially while I'm still sick. Got something that just won't quite give up. Yeah, I mean, we don't have any counter magic, but, especially on the play, Bolt and Run in 6 seems reasonable. Or just try them into Run in 6. Like I said, I probably won't be finishing this league tonight, but I'm probably going to at least get a couple matches in. Just to keep the streaming rolling. Caleb Shearer or Caleb Duard? Not Caleb Shearer. Caleb, I guess it'd be Caleb Duard, wouldn't it? Oh boy, mirror match could be a little rough. But we run in 6 here. Don't have any fetch lands to grab, but I think that's fine. I mean, we could have played the fetch, but I don't really feel like taking extra damage for no reason whatsoever. We up against the legit mirror. Seems interesting. We just get basic island here. Snow covered island, that is. Be kind of funky to be in the mirror match, though. Maybe playing that basic forest was a mistake. Yep, looks like we're in the mirror match, or maybe against 4-color. That's quite the pickle. Looks like we're just up against Wreck. Oh, it's getting... Nope. Flooded Strand probably means they're on 4-color. Yep, they're on 4-color field. Alright. Well, we got a terrible hand for the mirror match, so... Yeah, I know who Shearer is. I'm familiar with his work. He's like the godfather of Modern Storm. I guess I should have bolted their main phase since I can't counter anything anyway. Feels like we're just going to get steamrolled here, though. What do we have for the mirror match? Some Ether Gusts, a Typhoon, Mystical Dispute, and a Cleansing Wildfire, as well as a... whatchamacallit? Yeah, he's one of the... So, of the content creators I try to follow... he's on the list, but he's somewhat down because I haven't really been paying much attention to Storm lately. Like, with Hugel no longer streaming, I tend to follow Spike, Aspiring Spike, and tend to follow Spike, Doomwake, Fran, and Fluffy, as well as Ghost X. And then on YouTube, I follow Caleb, I follow Spike, Fluffy, Nikachu, GG for Goblin Guide, try to bolt this Omnath. Does put us further away from resolving or from ultimating Ren. Hoogland rubbed me the wrong way personally, but as far as like Magic content, he was pretty good at it. Like outside of instant speed loam, that's rough. Outside of like Croakies, I don't really think anybody even remotely compares to what Hoogland was doing. But he's at least transitioned it into like more gaming, more diverse gaming content, which, you know, I pop in from time to time and see how he's doing, but not particularly interested in non-Magic content most of the time unless it's World of Warcraft stuff. And, okay. So he's in a lot of trouble. Problem is, our hand's basically all lands, so. And without our one of Field of Ruin, we can't answer Field of the Dead, so. Well, to be fair, I don't know that being bland. As far as content creation, there's just. I think we're about at the point we can scoop here, but like to me he was almost the content equivalent of Space Marine. Just other than I'm not sure. Like, the thing with Hoogland is I think he legitimately believed what he was saying. I was just going to time warp the whatchamacallit there, and it just isn't worth fighting that battle. It just grated on me after a while with Hoogland. A lot of one-ofs to bring in here. I could bring in EE, maybe even. Cards do we not actually want? Bolts are pretty pathetic in this matchup overall. I mean, yeah, they can tag it to Fairy or team up to deal with Uros or stuff, but I just don't know that they're worth it. All can go down an Uro. Try like this. I honestly think that the Magic community overall kind of got caught up in a wave of negativity. I think just a lot of things got caught up in a wave of negativity, especially here in the U.S. And I just think we needed a kind of a calming reset. And, you know, if Magic has gotten to the point where, like with Hoogland, you were just so frustrated with it, it just added to your life's frustration, it was probably just right to step away. Yeah, he's not everybody's cup of tea, you know. I enjoyed his content, but his rhetoric was a little much sometimes. I'll put it that way. I think this hand's fine. A little bit slow, a little bit awkward, but with Growth Spiral, I think this hand's keepable. I still found, I think it was Yama that made the comment sometime toward the end of last year that Magic could really do with a villain, so to speak. And I honestly think that he might have been the closest to a villain that the Magic community had. The only person I could think of that remotely like set themselves up to be the bad boy of Magic, so to speak, was Matthew Foltz. Was a streamer for a little while that kind of set himself up to be the bad boy of Magic, so to speak. Basically, he didn't give no craps and, you know, whatnot. I think I'm going to go ahead, grab Basic Island, and do this during their upkeep. That way they can't Force of Negation us. Not that I think they would, but I think we're in a bad enough spot that I'm gonna laugh when we get like Mystical Disputed or something. I'm gonna put in Castle Mantras here. Not sure if I'm supposed to Uro next turn or just hold up Cryptic. Like, Cryptic, especially in these post-board games, has got to be incredibly difficult to cash in. I guess one thing I could do is pass with Cryptic, and if they don't cast anything, potentially bounce the Ragrum Triome. Just to completely screw with their mana. Like if they go for Growth Spiral here. Which it looks like they're trying to do. They have Force of Negation, they have Force of Negation, it's kind of whatever here. Alright, need to get another blue source. Counter target spell. Sure. Factor Fiction leaves things a little bit interesting here. Still think I'm supposed to Uro here. These decks are more of a mid-range matchup than a traditional just put Cryptic back on top. This is the last turn our opponent can resolve something scary, I think, and then I think we're in good shape. Caramba. Seriously? Hmm. Yeah, force. Of course you do. You had triple growth spiral. That's pretty rough. Problem is, without bolts in our deck, we really don't have any direct way to interact with the fairy. So maybe that was a reason to leave some number of bolts in. But even then, if they just keep upticking, we can't really do anything, even with bolts. Okay, there's an Omnath. Yeah, I didn't really watch much financial stuff with Magic, just... Okay. Yeah, field, or, okay, you have an Uro. Just effectively buys us a turn. Can't really cash in Uro right now. Like, I don't even know what I'm looking for right now. I guess they don't want to give us Soul Guide Lantern. Does Feel the Dead let me stay in this game? Maybe? Feels like it was just kind of Feel the Dead versus Soul Guide Lantern there, pretty much. Because Archmage's Charm's just a draw 2, and Mystical Dispute's obviously completely useless. Okay. I don't like that down tick on them, because if we have a bolt that we've been chilling on, then we're about to start the infinite time warp bullshit. Well, unless you want to start our old friend Teferi up, don't talk about banning any of this deck. Oh, okay. So we're just okay. We can move on. We can move on. All right. I believe Zanman has some finishes with that deck, most likely. Yeah, he has a couple of league finishes. It's an interesting deck in some regards, but it can be very tricky to play against. Like, I did the breakdown of the burn versus video, and it was just like, you gotta have creatures, and you gotta have some way to interact with Uro, whether it be or Omnath, whether it be Roiling Vortex, Skullcrack, or hope they don't draw it. The one thing about that deck is, or actually a lot of the control decks in Modern right now, is a lot of them don't have a ton of removal. So a lot of them are vulnerable to heavy 1-drop, 2-drop creature decks if you have some way to neutralize Uro. They tend to beat up on other mid-range decks. It's not a land. Honestly, I think the land might be the most egregious part of it. I honestly think Mystic Sanctuary and Field of Dead are a bigger problem than Uro is. Alright, 2 islands. Can't keep this hand. If we had a fetch land, I think this hand would be fine, but this hand's awkward as crap, but I do think we keep it. I guess we put back the only card we can't cast. Oh. So either Hammer Time or... Really? Okay. Either Hammer Time or Death and Taxes. Most likely Death and Taxes without Luris. Yep. And I put back a bolt, and we're going to get punished really badly. No. I wouldn't say Prowess is the best deck in the format. What I would say is that Prowess is the best at pressuring Uro Omnath piles, especially mono red with Blood Moon or blue red. I don't think it's the best deck in the format. I think 4-color Uro is the best deck in the format. I think we're going to Batter Scald. Yep. Put in Breeding Pool here. Problem we have here is without that bolt, we can't interact with what they're doing. And their start isn't even that good for Death and Taxes. Like, they don't have Vile, they don't have, instant speed nonsense. It's just we didn't have any way to interact with creatures, so we died. I mean, we can Cryptic... I don't even know what. Cryptic tap their team, and... yeah, there's Ether Vial. It's kind of whatever at this point. Probably shouldn't have played the Blast Zone until I saw what I drew off of the Cryptic command. Appreciate that, War Dog. I wonder if I even chased Foz off when I said I wasn't going to do Magic Online content. Okay, sure. Because I haven't seen him poking about at all. Of course I say that, and he's probably chilling out in the chat right now. Nope. I haven't seen him in a moment, though. Well, that would be a card that might let us get back into the game. Okay. One, two, three. Can I play in Flashback Uro this turn? I think I can. So if they somehow don't have... Path to Exile chilling in their hand, or Skyclave Apparition. This might get us where we need to go. Feels like a bit of a long shot, but... he might be. I don't know. I know I really ended up chasing a lot of people away by my kind of wishy-washiness with stuff. But honestly, I just... Yep, they have Path. So we're in some trouble here. It's not... I guess I was just burned out on Magic, plus tired of dumping Magic into money into Magic Online. I don't know. It was just a bad combination of stuff going on. But I did basically lost all momentum that I had. So, it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. But only 2 cards left in hand. Could be Skyclave Apparition and such, but the fact that they pathed us... I think I main phase Factor Fiction. Really? I don't know that our opponent thought about that too much, but, you know, whatever. You have another Path to Exile? I mean, they at least bluffed like they had one. Don't think they did, or else they have Skyclave Apparition and they're just going to vial that in instead. I watched a good Death and Taxes player destroy Fran the other day. This deck is just like, it's a random pile of cards, but a good Taxes player is just a marvel to watch what they do with vials and flicker wisps and everything else. Which is hilarious because I used to hate that. I guess I hate the card Leon and Arbiter. The rest of the deck's actually pretty cool. Yep. Card we kind of expected. Especially with an Path at the end of turn. Taking 5 again. That's what, 2 of our arrows gone? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why would you... Do I have a forest to get? Please tell me I still have a forest to get. I think it's just an island, though. Yeah, unfortunate. One, two. I think we Nexus of Fate first. Then Archmage's Charm. Don't want to play too many lands here. I think that might have been a mistake. I'm not sure I actually have any more fetchables left in my deck. Okay, what are you vialing in here? Kind of an irrelevant card, to be honest. I guess it leaves us just dead. Yeah, Bolt's kind of useless here. We're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Opponent currently has 9 damage on board. Really? We're getting to the point where we're not going to be able to draw anything of relevance. Hey, Force of Negation. Way too late to be relevant. Pass the turn here. Guess we can Mystic Sanctuary back a Archmage's Charm on end step. Because I think 2, so 4, 9, 4, 8, 9. If our opponent continues to lead back the Giver of Runes, we will have just enough life to be able to fetch and get Mystic Sanctuary, put back Archmage's Charm. Making sure that I pay for Leon and Arbiter, of course. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hopefully they don't have another Arbiter. If they do, then we're in trouble anyway. It's the only fetchable left in my deck. Well, I mean, sure. We enter the potentially obnoxious phase of the game. This is a part of this deck that I don't particularly like. Actually, what I need to do, turn target permanent. Just target permanent. Does our opponent have a Flicker Wisp? Okay, they're vialing in a 2-drop. Thalia, sure. I think I'm safely to the point where Thalia is kind of irrelevant. Yes, I know I only get a 3/3 back, but that's better than having nothing. Is this an infinite loop? There's no way this is an infinite loop, right? Oh my lord, this is an infinite loop, isn't it? I mean, they have ways of blowing this up. Flicker Wisp, Ghost Quarter, Field of the Field of Ruin. This is so stupid. Now we just gotta do this for 9 more turns. I mean, no biggie, right? Sure, whatever. Stoneforge Mystic, sure. What did you even have to grab? Nothing. So apparently you have equipment in your hand. Alright, we can safely move on now. That was so dumb. Just so dumb. Remain just feels kind of bad. Force of Negation only really hits path and... Yeah, that was... So you can literally do that loop with 2 cryptic commands. So dumb. Alright, seems reasonable, I guess. Just gonna shock this in case they have whatchamacallit on one. Kind of telegraphing here that they shouldn't. Oh, and they play Giver of Runes anyway. Okay. No fetch land to pair with this is kind of unfortunate, because that means Leonin Arbiter really is obnoxious. Opponent might have like Thalia in hand or something. That's all the land drops we have. Archon of Emeria. That one's annoying. Play Uro here. Okay. How many lands am I playing again? 28 lands? Apparently not enough. Yeah, that would allow them to break the synergy. Can't cast anything else. Stopped by your own card. Yeah, pretty much. Well, to be fair, it's doing something when you're attacking with a 3/3. I mean, it's very obnoxious, but at least it's doing something. But one of the big problems is we didn't find Feel the Dead that matchup, or that game. And we just got... Yeah, sure, whatever. I think we're going to have to clear out their board next turn. Fetch land, please. Or a braid, that works too, I guess. It feels like we should be burying this game if we found lands, but wow, opponent with all the ether vials. What kind of hand did they keep? Yes. Please Field of Ruin me. Oh. Yeah, I really didn't want that to happen. Like, I really wanted you to Field of Ruin me. Fix my mana there. Could point this at one of the chalices, but I think with the situation we're in, we just have to. So I could bluff like we have something here. I think I'm just going to Factor Fiction main phase. I could Uro. I think I'm much more interested in Factor Fictioning here. Okay, well, there's all the lands we wanted. Blaststone versus 4 lands. Wonder which one I'm taking. Just going to leave this Spirit back. Not that I suspected they had much there, but I think if this game goes long enough that we're probably favored to win here. Drop Dahlia, sure, whatever. Renin 6 is a pretty good one here. Comes at like the perfect time. Sure, still kind of whatever. Now that I don't have to play around Arbiter, go grab. Presume they're going to field us in response here. Opponent can kill our Renin 6, which is kind of annoying. If they feel like using Giver Runes, otherwise we're 100% blocking so we can field the dead back. Opponent's got 1 card in hand. It's probably an answer to Uro, would be my guess. GQ, sure, whatever. Yep. Unsurprisingly, they're going to go after Renin 6 here. Just because they can't let us get a Field of the Dead back. Or Blast Zone, I guess, would kind of screw with them too. Is that both runs? That's one run. Exiled. Yeah, that's both runs. So we have no way of getting things back from the graveyard. Okay, no Flicker Wisp or Skyclave Apparition at end of turn there. Five being a Gideon, ally of Zendikar. Actually, we can't do anything about that, can we? Oh well. So all we have in hand is a Cryptic Command. Put Fire Spout back on top. What are they vialing in here? Okay, that made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Why would you vial in a... do nothing card there? I mean, I have no reason to show them anything else. I guess we can play another Uro here. Like, I mean, yeah, they could have Skyclave Apparition, they could whatever. I think the game's pretty well over at this point. Alright. I don't know if opponent was hoping to bleed us of time or what they were hoping to do there. Force of Negation. the draw, I want to go down on remands. Cryptic at least does stuff. Ceremonious Rejection would be a cheeky card to bring in. Shark Typhoon could be alright. Just as a random gotcha attacker, or blocker, I mean. Just feels like remand on the draw is just too awkward and slow. Can't keep the one-lander. I think we keep this hand, but it's really kind of awkward. Turn one vial. Yep. It's like their best opening hand. There are fetch lands out, so we don't get caught by Arbiter if possible. Opponent goes, gets Batterskull. Sword of Fire and Ice. JK. Apparently they have Batterskull in hand already. Pass, take our beating and like it. Sure. Okay, sure. So is there any way I can buy back Bolt here this turn? I guess if I place Steam Vents first, so do this. Actually, I can play Island. Then put Bolt back on top. Go to my end step, cycle. A little bit risky here, obviously, to bring this into play when my opponent could potentially like get us with a Skyclave Apparition or something. Apparently they just had nothing. Sure. Are we actually doing the thing here? Did mess up there. I had a chance to blow the two creatures up with Blast Zone. I mean, they know I have this bolt, so I don't know what they're hoping to accomplish. Nice. Wow. Alright, that was kind of an insane match, not gonna lie. But, yeah. You know, the one thing I will say about these decks, is yes, I'm kind of sick of playing against them. I'm not gonna lie there. But, you know, playing them, there's really a lot to learn, like with the cryptic command loops and some of the other stuff, just of the different variants of the deck. So they are interesting to play, at least at first. I'm sure they get as repetitive to play as they are to play against. But it was definitely an interesting experience there. Got to play against Color Uro Omnath, and then Death and Taxes. Both were quite interesting matches there. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'm going to go ahead and call it a stream there. I don't want to push myself with my chest cough and such. So let's see if we can raid somebody. I believe I saw... Yeah. Maven Dragon is... Looks like she might be doing Burn or Prowess. So send you guys over onto Maven. And thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next stream, which will probably be tomorrow or... Yeah, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday night. Not really sure which. Thanks, War Dog.